What is going on, Laker fans? Thank you very much for being a part of the show. Lakers Talk with Alan Sliwa. Got a topic that I wanted to get into. So I did my Lakers Talk show a couple days ago. What's today? Wednesday. Did my show on Monday. And one topic came up that I thought would be interesting for YouTube here. So I'm going to focus specifically on this. You can see the title right there. Do you still got faith in Anthony Davis? So that's why I'm going to spend a little bit of time. Part of this was sparked. It's kind of funny because Monday the conversation just naturally came up. Part of it came up because there's been so much chatter about Russell Westbrook for the last year or so, and that chatter continues. There's one little story I'm going to do on Russ a little bit later as well. But there's been so much chatter about him. It's like why are we spending 80% of our energy and 80% of our conversation on a guy that is not the most important player on the team or the second most player on the team? He's, arguably the third most important at this point, I guess. You can make an argument that he's not even that important, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm just kind of trying to be real of the situation with Russ on the Lakers and everything else that comes with it. So, with that in mind, that's going to be part of the conversation because all that energy and all that conversation that we spent on Russ, we sometimes forget how important one player on this freaking roster is, and it's Anthony Davis. So I want to get into that, and I want to get into Kevin Garnett having some comments about AD on, I think, a show he does on Showtime. So I'm going to get into that in just a second. First off, let me just encourage listeners who have never been a part of the show, please subscribe to the channel. And if you've been a part of the show and you kind of know what I do, I talk Lakers basketball on a daily basis. And then on YouTube, I try to do as many videos as I can, predominantly all my jobs. My job day to day is 710 ESPN, but try to also give some love to YouTube here. Okay, so we're under 3 weeks away from the preseason starting. Russ is still on the roster, and I'm going to start shifting my attention here. There was a quote that came out. I'm going to read off this quote to everybody here. This was coming from Legion Hoops, but KG does his show. It's called called KG Certified, and watch it on YouTube, whatever it is. But Legion Hoops put out the quote that KG had. The quote he had on Anthony Davis was this: It's his turn to carry the torch. Braun has carried this mother effer for a whole decade. AD came to the Lakers to be an MVP and take the torch from Bro and carry it. So that's Kevin Garnett talking about Anthony Davis. You know why I want to ask Laker fans and obviously read some of these comments as they come in and everything else. But the reason why I want to ask Laker fans is, do you still have faith in AD? Do you still believe that Anthony Davis can be the face of the Lakers franchise? Do you still believe in his future with the Lakers? Hell, do you still believe he can have 70 games this upcoming season and have some type of a season like he did a couple years ago when the Lakers won that championship? I think it's a fair question. I really, really think it's a legitimate question on Anthony Davis. I'll give you guys my obviously my thoughts on this. First off, KG making his point. It's his turn to carry the torch. Braun's obviously been doing it. He was brought here to eventually carry the torch and be kind of a bridge between LeBron and Anthony Davis. And then AD is going to play with another superstar. And then the Lakers could hopefully still continue to compete for NBA championships. That was the plan. And it got off to a great start in 2020. Did some stuff work the Lakers' way? Was there an advantage? Probably, because the league had stopped because of COVID. I think that did benefit the Lakers, right? Braun and Anthony Davis get healthy, get right. And then playing in the Orlando bubble, Lakers won the whole thing. They beat, who they beat in that first round? I know they beat, let's see, Portland, the Rockets, the Denver Nuggets, and then handled business against the Miami Heat. They win in 6 games. And really from that point on, you're thinking, damn, who the hell is going to stop the Lakers? I remember ESPN did a ranking. They ranked top 10, top 25 players in the NBA, whatever it was. LeBron was 1. AD was number 2. They ranked Bron, AD 1, 2 after the NBA championship. Nobody really thought it was crazy. Everybody kind of thought to themselves, yeah, there's some great players in the league. KD and Giannis and What is Embiid going to be? Jokic obviously has been fantastic these last couple of years. Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, go down the list. There's fantastic players all around the league. Jimmy Butler, but ESPN thought at that time those are the two best players in the NBA, and they both happen to be on the same team. Laker fans were feeling pretty damn good about themselves 2 years ago after they won that championship in the bubble. And I don't think there was really much doubt that Anthony Davis is going to just continue to get better. I mean, hell, AD, I think, is 29 now. He'll be 30. He's in the prime of his career. And then Anthony Davis gets injured and can't go, at least is not healthy enough to go in the first round of the playoffs against the Phoenix Suns. Lakers losing 6 games. And I remember a quote from Anthony Davis. Was it last year? It might have been last year. Basically saying, hey, they know they got lucky because I wasn't healthy. Okay. Maybe you can make the case that if Anthony Davis is healthy, I thought the Lakers would beat the Phoenix Suns, but it didn't happen. It's this part of the NBA. Injuries happened, and Phoenix took advantage of the Lakers. Then last year happened. It was more of the exact same Laker fans. And AD plays around another 40 games. This time, Lakers don't even make the playoffs. They don't even make the play-in tournament. I mean, just an awful, awful season for the Lakers. So when I read KG's quote here, and I saw earlier in the year, or this was earlier in the offseason, that I think it was Kendrick Perkins that had some quote out there. It was basically that he thinks Anthony Davis is going to be the MVP this upcoming season. You can quote me on that, carry on, whatever he was doing on Twitter, or maybe it was NBA Today that he was talking about it. I'm going to tell you guys how I feel. For the last 2 years, I have said, watch out for Anthony Davis. For the last 2 years, I have said, well, AD is going to build off that championship year. Well, okay, AD, because the Lakers were eliminated in the first round against the Phoenix Suns and AD wasn't healthy. Oh, you just wait till next season. And then we obviously all know what happened last season, and you kind of start – I've reached the point. Let's put it this way. I've reached the point where Anthony Davis, for me, I need to see it to believe it. So I'm done with the whole watch Anthony Davis this upcoming year. AD is going to be competing for a most valuable player award. AD is a top 5 player in the league. I'm done with all that. I've done that for 2 years in a row, and I was wrong for 2 years in a row. Maybe I'm just playing some games here, some mind games here, and maybe if I go the other way, AD will actually have an incredible season and play 70 games. But it's the truth. There is, what's the definition of faith? You believe it before you see it. I'm the opposite of faith now. I need to see it to believe it. And that's how I feel on Anthony Davis now. And I don't know how Laker fans feel. And I'm not, this isn't me trying to knock AD. This isn't me trying to be pessimistic going into the season. But it's really, really difficult to give AD the benefit of the doubt at this point. Maybe it's just bad luck. Maybe he's just a player that gets injured. And when he's healthy, he's really, really talented. And when he's not, he obviously then it changes everything. But I don't want to make any assumptions this upcoming year. There were times last year when he was healthy that I thought he was underperforming. And then there was also a lot of times where he just wasn't healthy and he wasn't around for the Lakers. Maybe he was never healthy. Maybe he was he just feels the pressure that he's got to get back. But I really do say it I really mean it when I say it. I need to see it to believe it. So Laker fans, what do you think? You still got that faith in Anthony Davis that this is going to be a big-time year for him, that he is going to come through for the Lakers, that he'll play 65, 70 games, somewhere around there? Or do you have a lot of hesitation? Are you kind of fall more along the lines of me? Well, when he actually shows it, I will believe it. So put your comments down there. I got one other topic that I want to get into just because this was something I wanted to do yesterday, and I didn't get a chance to do it yesterday. And then earlier today, I saw this as well. So there's some rumors that the Lakers are in ongoing talks with the Jazz about Bogdanović and Russell Westbrook in some type of a trade. So what's crazy is this. This is Tony Jones of The Athletic said the Jazz are currently at 17 players, which means the roster will have to be trimmed by at least 2 by some point before the beginning of the regular season. Front office isn't done taking trade calls. There's a lot of interest in Bogdanovich. And he said there's ongoing talks with the Los Angeles Lakers. We're pretty freaking close to the season starting, Laker fans. We're pretty close. I had Trevor Lane on Lakers Talk on Monday. We're talking. Him and I kind of both feel the same way, that at this point we think Russ is going to be on the roster. Can something happen? Of course it can. Can they make a trade before training camp starts? Of course they can. However, the team has 100% approached it as if he's going to be on the roster, which is the right thing to do. I think I think kind of the way that I look at this and I try to assess this, I'm still a proponent of the Lakers moving Russ. I think most Laker fans are. If he is on the roster by the time training camp starts and preseason starts less than 3 weeks. If he's still on the roster by the time preseason starts, then, I'm going to embrace it and hope that he's got a better season and he buys into Darvin Ham and the Lakers try to figure it out. But if the Lakers can go out and get some role players instead of Russ, that'd be fantastic. I guess I don't hold as much in that draft picks for 2027, 20. You've been all in for 5 years. You're going to stop now at a pick or two. But they got to, obviously do what they think is in the best interest of the team. And if those role players are going to have a significant difference or if they're not. So let's see what happens. I mean, you certainly got to feel like in the next week, if something doesn't get done, probably is not going to get done, but we'll see what ends up happening on that front. So your thoughts on the Anthony Davis conversation? We'll see what happens with Bogdanovich and the Utah Jazz. Certainly the Utah Jazz are in a complete rebuilding mode. See if the Lakers can take advantage of that. And Laker fans, I appreciate you guys being a part of the show. Let's see what we got here. I'm on with Travis every morning, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. So you guys can always feel free to tune in there. Not as much Laker conversation in the offseason, but obviously this channel, it's specifically for the Los Angeles Lakers. So we'll continue that conversation. Thank you for being a part of the show. Have a good rest of your night, and we'll get back with you guys.